If you're a basketball nut like me, you're going to be gearing up to watch the latest episodes of The Last Dance tonight. I think I found the perfect pairing. We're going to talk about it in this video. Hello! Welcome back to Exotic Wine Travel. I am your host, Matthew Horky. Still locked down here in Zagreb, Croatia, where I've been the last 3 months. My lockdown fro is reaching epic levels. It's been about 3.5 months since I cut it. I'm excited to cut it next week. But that's not the most exciting thing. I'm a huge basketball fan, and tonight I'm getting geared up to watch episodes 7 and 8 of The Last Dance. If you're not into sports or basketball, it's a 10-part documentary. It's on ESPN and Netflix, and it chronicles Michael Jordan's last year with the Chicago Bulls, 97 and 98. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that and some wines you might want to drink while watching these episodes. And I think I found, some people will be drinking beer, but why not be more classy and drink a little bit more wine? I think I have the perfect solution. I went with a red wine because obviously the whole documentary is about the last 97-98 season with the Chicago Bulls, and their color is red. So I think it's the perfect pairing. And I picked a genre of wines that can be found all around the world. There should be no excuse. You should be able to find some of these wines wherever you are. And that's Côtes du Rhône from France. From southern France. So one of the most important regions in France for wine is the Rhone. Côtes du Rhône is kind of on the base level of the production there. Like basketball, me and Côtes du Rhône go back a long time. I got a few funny stories about Côtes du Rhône. I remember when I was first getting into wine, I was at a restaurant. I was on a date. And I looked at the sommelier, or not a fancy restaurant, the server, and I looked at the wine list, and I says, "Yes, can I have a bottle of that COTES du Rhône?" And the sommelier looked at me kind of cynically. He was like, "Côtes du Rhône?" Made me feel like crap. But so anyway, if you're a sommelier out there, don't do that to your customers. Another thing is I started really liking the flavors of Côtes du Rhône. And I remember as I stepped up and I moved up into the world of wine, I was telling one of my friends that I really like the wines from Côtes du Rhône. So she got me a gift. She got me a mature bottle of Château de Pop. And back then I didn't even know what that was. I remember she gave me the bottle. I looked at it. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, how is this a Côtes du Rhône? We'll talk a little bit more about that. So anyways, these wines are widely distributed, offer some of the best values in France, or in the world for that matter. Primarily in the south, they're going to be made of, their GSMs mean primarily Grenache, SYRAH, MOURVEDRE, although you won't see other grapes like Carignan, Cinsault, other types of grapes in the blends. You're going to see 3 types of levels of Côtes du Rhône, and you're going to see basic Côtes du Rhône kind of at the bottom. Côtes du Rhône Village, a step up. And then there's Côtes du Rhône Crus, like Lirac, Rasteau, Château de Pop technically is a Côtes du Rhône Cru as well. As you move up the pyramid, the quality supposedly gets better, but there's some beautiful Côtes du Rhônes at the base, wines at the base level, just labeled Côtes du Rhône, that are delicious too. One kind of characteristic about these wines is they're going to be primarily have these strawberry, baked cherry type notes. Right now I'm drinking the Domaine des Pères de la Glace, Côtes du Rhône, 2018. These are usually sold on the younger side, meant to be drunk right away. Like I was talking about, cherry, strawberry, sometimes a little bit of meat, a little pepper. This is kind of classic Côtes du Rhône. A hint of complexity, but they have soft tannins. They're meant to be drunk young, so this means these wines are going to be crowd pleasers. Go fantastic with pastas, or I think they go a little bit better with grilled meats. These are perfect barbecue wines, so if you're watching The Last Dance outside, grilling up on a barbecue, might want to grab a few bottles of Côtes du Rhône. Here are a few things to look for. All these bottles I have here are actually wines made by producers of Château de Pop. Château de Pop are real prestigious wines in the Southern Rhone. And if you buy Côtes du Rhône from good established producers, the quality can be quite high. From this producer, we have, this is a very famous producer, Domaine du Pegau. They make some of the most classic age-worthy Château de Pops. This is their Setier Côtes du Rhône Village, that second level. It shows some of their characteristics. This is also a classic producer, Domaine Le Calou. This is André Brunel, the Côtes du Rhône 2017. Looking forward to trying that. And on the flip side, you're going to have the Côtes du Rhône Cru Villages. And there's some really good stuff coming out. This is the Château de la Gardine Rasteau 2017. The 16 was excellent. I can't wait to get into the 17. And then Lirac, which is right across the Rhone River from Château de Pop. This is also the Domaine des Pères de l'Église. My French is terrible. And also this is Château Saint-Roch. This is the Lirac, actually made by the Gardine family. So check these wines out. I'm really excited for tonight to be drinking them while I'm watching this. If you don't know, if you watch my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of basketball. Basketball was probably one of my first passions, right up there with travel and what we do now in terms of wine. Even though I've got a funny body shape, I'm rather short and squat, maybe 5'11", 180 cm on a good day. I did play in high school, did play in high level. I've been on the court, been in some pickup games with past, present, and even future NBA players. So I've definitely seen my share of good basketball, although I wasn't really good enough to make it to the next level. If you've been hiding under a rock, or you're too young, or don't know who Michael Jordan is, that's what this documentary is all about. It's really an incredible journey. I see it as almost like watching home videos, but without the awkwardness of me actually being in the video. Because during the documentary, the first parts, we're going on 7 and 8 tonight. 1 through 6 is great because they play music that was popular back in the 90s. And all those images, watching all those games, I watched nearly every single game when I was a kid. Even though I grew up in Detroit, was supposed to be a Pistons fan. Pretended to kind of like them, but always just drawn towards the Bulls because Jordan had such a magnetic personality. And I loved Scottie Pippen. Pippen was actually my favorite player. I saw both of them play live. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't watched an NBA game close up and you're just a mere mortal, you quickly figure out that you could never, ever, ever play in the NBA because of the size, speed, and skill level. So check it out. If you guys are if anybody's a hardcore geek like me, I could get really geeky and breaking down the episodes. Maybe we could do some side videos or some kind of live event. You'll have to let me know in the comments if something that something that you might be interested in. Check out these wines from Côtes du Rhône. I think that you're gonna really enjoy them. You know, in the price point, you're gonna find these wines at the Côtes du Rhône level. You can get wines that are just labeled Côtes du Rhône at like $2 sometimes if you're in Europe, or if you're getting cheap wines. Those aren't ones I recommend drinking. I think to get something a little bit nicer, you're going to spend more $10 to $15 US. Côtes du Rhône Village, like this one, sometimes goes up to 20, 25. The same with the cruise. The other cruise down there, Vacras, Gigondas, also wines that are incredibly complex. And go to your store. Ask, if you see a Côtes du Rhône, ask the person that's working there, does this producer also make a Château de Pop, or does he make a Gigondas? If the producer does, it's a pretty good bet that the Côtes du Rhône will be of high quality. Check it out. Enjoy The Last Dance. I'll be watching. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit later, and you can leave some of your comments below. And guys, enjoy. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Exotic Wine Travel. Click the bell so you know when new episodes will come out. And I will see you in the next episode.